5 years ago, I uploaded a video called 15 Ways to Soundproof a Door, and that video blew up. Over the years, I've made a ton of follow-ups, testing door sweeps, sealing kits, and full-on soundproof door panels. But it's 2025, and not everything I showed back then still holds up. So this is a complete updated version, what works, what doesn't, and how to actually soundproof a door whether you rent, own, or just want peace and quiet without spending a small fortune. Let's start with what doesn't work so you don't waste your time and your money. Acoustic foam panels on the door. This one is everywhere. People cover their door in wedge style acoustic foam thinking it'll block noise. It doesn't. I actually tested this a while back. I stuck foam all over a hollow core door and ran a sound test. The result? Zero difference. Foam is made to reduce echo inside a room. It's good for improving recording quality or cutting down reverb, but it has almost no density, no mass, and no real ability to stop airborne sound like voices, music. If your goal is to block sound from leaving or entering the room, foam on the door is basically pointless. It makes the room sound a little nicer. That's about it. Another common one is hanging lightweight curtains or blankets over the door. Most of the time, people use something that's way too thin or not sealed at all around the edges. And the last one is the one that surprises a lot of people, is thinking you have to replace the whole door. Solid core doors are definitely better than hollow ones. No arguments there, but a new door still leaks sound if you don't seal the gaps. You can always upgrade the door later, but it's rarely the first thing I'd tell someone to do. So that's what doesn't work, or at least not the way most people use it. Now, let me show you what makes a difference, even if you rent or you're working with a low budget. Nothing here is permanent. Most doors don't actually stop sound. They just swing shut and leave a bunch of air gaps around the frame. Sound doesn't need much space to leak through, and even a tiny opening can let in more noise than you think. Here's what to do. And I'll even show you a sound test that proves how spending about $20–25 can put you on the right track. I'll have a link in the description below of everything I talk about in this video to make it a lot easier for you to go out and buy. First, look at the sides, look at the top. Use adhesive weather strip, foam or rubber, that works. Stick it along the door frame so that when the door closes, it presses tightly against it. This instantly reduces how much air and sound can move through the sides. Now the bottom of the door. This is the worst offender. Most doors have a visible gap underneath, and sound will fly straight through. For this, I use a U-shaped door sweep that slides under the bottom of the door and seals on both sides. It presses against the floor and helps stops a ton of sound from leaking in or out. And here's why I prefer this exact shape. It's easily removable and you can slide it in or off in seconds without screws or adhesive. That matters because blocking airflow under a door can affect ventilation, especially in a bedroom where there's no return air vent. If the room starts feeling stuffy or airflow drops too much, just slide it off temporarily and put it back on when needed. Next one is hang a heavy curtain or blanket. Once the gaps are sealed, you can go a step further by adding absorption in front of the door. Hang a moving blanket, a heavy soundproof curtain, or a thick rug over the door. Use a tension rod, adhesive hooks, or a curtain track if you're allowed to drill. You can also use self-adhesive Velcro with one side around the frame of the door and then sew the other side onto the curtain or blanket. That way there are no air gaps around letting noise through. What you're doing here is reducing the energy of the sound that's hitting the door in the first place, especially voices, mid-range frequencies, or hallway reverb. It's not going to block low frequencies like bass, but it helps tame general noise and works really well when combined with sealing. Next one is add a door panel, the kind you attach directly to the door. This is where people get confused. There are a lot of soundproof door panels floating around online, especially on Amazon, and most of them don't do much. They're too thin. But that brings me to my next one, which is a custom door panel that I tested a while back. This one is made using fiberglass insulation wrapped in mass-loaded vinyl in the middle section, and it actually worked. It's thick, heavy, and built to block, not absorb sound. That's the kind of difference a proper sound blocking panel can make, and you can easily hang it with Velcro. It's not cheap, but it's one of the best non-permanent upgrades out there, short of changing the door. Now, if you're done with temporary fixes and ready to fully block sound through a door, this is the part for you. These are permanent upgrades, no gimmicks, just solid physical changes that stop sound at the source. Step 1. Replace or rehang the door. Let's deal with the obvious problem first. Most interior doors are hollow core garbage. They weigh maybe 25 pounds, they're full of air gaps, and they do almost nothing to stop sound. Voice, hallway traffic, all comes right through. If you want serious noise reduction, replace it with a solid core door. You don't need anything custom, just a slab of MDF or a standard pre-hung solid core door that can look just like any other door in your house. These usually weigh 60 to 80 pounds and give you that dense, heavy mass that airborne sound can't easily push through. But not everyone wants to replace a door. That's where rehanging comes in. Most doors are poorly aligned, gaps at the top, a latch that doesn't pull tight, uneven clearance at the bottom. All of that will let sound through even if the door itself is solid. Rehanging the door to close tightly, sit flush against the frame, and latch without play can make a noticeable improvement even before you add anything else. And if the hinges are old, sagging, or loose, you gotta replace them. Go for 3 heavy-duty hinge if you're swapping to a heavier slab. A solid core door that doesn't sit tight on the frame is a waste of money, so get the alignment right first. Step 2 is install a full perimeter gasket. Once the door is solid and closes properly, you need to seal around the perimeter. This is where most people drop the ball. The door closes, but there's still air leaking around the sides and the top. A full door gasket kit fixes that. This isn't the peel and stick foam like you use in your rental. This is different. This is a rigid metal strip with a built-in rubber or silicone seal that compresses when the door shuts. You screw it in directly to the frame, one piece along each side and one across the top. I tested one of these kits recently and it absolutely changed how the door felt when it closed. You get this tight seal pull. Most kits will run you about $50 and you can install them with a screwdriver or a drill. If the door is already hung straight, the install takes less than 30 minutes and the performance difference is instant, especially for voice level sound. Just make sure the seal compresses evenly all the way around. If there are hard spots where it doesn't touch, adjust the frame stops or shim it out. Step 3, upgrade the bottom seal. Let's talk about that bottom gap. This is the one that almost everyone ignores, like I was talking about before, and it's where the most sound will leak through. You've got 2 good permanent options. First one is a screw-on sweep. This is a metal strip with a thick rubber blade. Mounts directly to the door and presses against the floor when it closes. Super simple and super effective, but make sure it actually seals. A lot of people install these a bit too high, or they buy the ones with the soft plastic fins that bends out of the way and don't touch the ground. It needs to press firmly, not just flap around. And the second one is automatic door seal. This is the higher end option. It mounts into a routed channel at the bottom of the door, or you can screw it on the surface also. And when the door shuts, the seal drops down and presses against the floor. When you open the door, it lifts automatically so it doesn't drag. It's clean, pro-level solution, costs more, usually around $60 to $100, but gives you a full seal with no resistance or wear from opening and closing the door every day. Especially useful if you have hardwood or tile floors that you don't want scratched. Whichever one you go with, the key is contact. No seal, no sound control. If your floor is uneven, the door seal is worth the extra cost. But if your floor is flat, a proper installed sweep works just as well. But all of this shouldn't run you more than between $20 and $800. And the final section, which is very important, these are the common mistakes, the less obvious mistakes people make when trying to soundproof a door. The ones that don't show up in a product video or Amazon review, but it actually kills performance. Mistake 1 is ignore the floor and ceiling flanking paths. You block the door completely, but the noise is still getting in. Why? Because it's coming in around the door, to the wall, ceiling, or floor. If your door is next to an HVAC vent or shares a wall with ductwork, or if the sound is traveling under the floor or above a drop ceiling, you'll still hear it no matter how perfect the door is. Next mistake is not testing before sealing everything permanently. If you're going permanent, installing gaskets, screwing in a sweep, or replacing a slab, do a temporary setup first. Close the gaps using towels, hang curtains. See if the sound is really coming through the door or somewhere else. I've had people fully seal a door and then realize the sound was leaking through the vent the whole time. Next one is forgetting about the airflow return. If you seal the door airtight, you might also kill the airflow like I was talking about earlier. That creates pressure issues and stuffy air, especially in bedrooms with no return air vents. That's one reason I recommend the removable sweep in budget setups. You can easily pull it off if airflow becomes a problem. So that's pretty much everything I've learned about soundproofing a door within the years. What works, what doesn't, and what's worth your time depending on your budget. If you've got a different setup, maybe sliding door, double doors, something, whatever it is, let me know in the comment section below. And also, this video right here, it's an awesome video. Show you what are my top 10 soundproofing products. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate you. Like I said, if you haven't subscribed or left a thumbs up, do it. If you've gotten this far, oh my God, most people don't.